Hello everyone, my name is Wulan Fitri. My last student number is 043. In this video, I would like to discuss about aspects of material writing, focusing on two important parts, selecting text and writing instruction. Let's start with selecting text. The criteria for selecting text depend on what the text will be used for. There are three common purposes. First, as a basis for a unit in a set of materials. Second, as a basis for a reading or listening lesson. And third, as a text for teaching language features. When a text is used as the basis for a unit, it should engage learners both emotionally and intellectually and offer them a rich experience of both language and life. To make sure of this, we can ask several questions like, does the text engage the learner's thoughts and feelings? Is it understandable for their level? Or can learners relate it to their own life and experience? We can rate each text on a 5-point scale and select those that score high on this criteria. Tomlinson and Masuhara also remind us that literature can be a great way to achieve engagement. By literature, they don't mean difficult classic but simple, well-written text that make students think, feel, and imagine. Good texts allow learners to connect their personal experiences with what they read, making language learning more meaningful. When a text is used as a basis for a reading or listening lesson, it shouldn't be chosen just because it targets a certain skill. Instead, it should still meet the same criteria as before and also help learners practice real-world reading and listening. We can ask, does it allow students to use specific skills? And does it encourage using several skills together like predicting and inferring? Finally, when a text is used for language teaching, we apply the same selection rules but add two more. Does the text include enough examples of particular language feature like simple past or reported speech so students can notice patterns? And does it give enough context to help them understand how the language works naturally? To summarize, selecting text is not just about level or topic. It's about choosing materials that connect to learners cognitively and emotionally. Texts that make them think, feel, and relate learning to real life. Now, let's move on the second part, writing instructions. Even the best materials can fail if the instructions are unclear. When students don't understand what to do, they may feel frustrated or lose confidence. That's why clear instructions are essential. Tomlinson and Masuhara suggest several criteria to make instruction effective. First, clarity. Learners should easily recognize the instruction. You can make them stand out using bold text, a box, or a different color. Second, simplicity. Each instruction should describe one clear action, written in short, simple sentences, use familiar words and active verbs. Third, make sure there is obvious reference. Instead of saying look below, say look at column B or find paragraph 2. Specific directions prevent confusion. Next, include example. Whenever possible, for instance, write a sentence about each person's job. Then show one example like a chauffeur drives a car for other people. Also, focus on specification. Use action verbs like draw, write, or list instead of vague words like match or connect. Then, ensure standardization. Keep your instruction style consistent throughout your materials. If you use the phrase see a picture in your mind, use it the same way every time. Instruction should also follow proper sequencing, written in the same order students should do them, and ideally they should be separated and staged, presented one step at a time so learners don't get overwhelmed. For example, sit with a partner. Read the passage called No Way. Underline each point made by the writer. Decide if you agree with the writer's opinion. Clear, well-structured instruction help learners feel confident and independent. To conclude, both selecting text and writing instructions are crucial aspects of material writing. Good text engage and connect with learners, while clear instruction guide them smoothly through the learning process. Together, they help create material that are not only effective but also enjoyable and meaningful for students. I think that's all from me.
Hello everyone, my name's Alicia Avril with last student number 041. Now I'm going to explain about using illustrations, next design and layout in teaching materials. Alright, the first one is illustrations. I think you are very familiar with illustrations because we often use them in every learning and teaching process, right? So, what do we mean by illustrations? When we talk about illustrations in teaching materials, we mean all kinds of visual elements that support learning. This can include photos, drawings, cartoons, mock documents like letters or ads, graphs, charts, maps, or even diagrams. For children's materials, illustrations can even be interactive visual. It will increase their interesting of learning. And multimedia or online materials, illustrations can include animations, 3D pictures, or sound effects. So, the question is, why are illustrations important? Illustrations are very important because, as we know, communication is not only verbal, it's also visual and non-verbal. In fact, research says that about 65% of our communication is non-verbal, and another study found that 55% of the impact we get from others is through tone and facial expressions, not just words. However, a study by Hill in 2003 found that in many course books, 55% of the visuals were only decorative and didn't help learning. That's why, as a teachers, we need to know how to use these illustrations effectively. Alright, now let's move to objectives of using illustrations. Illustrations can help us as a teachers through this way. The first, explain something visually, especially if it's new for learners. The second, make learning more enjoyable or aesthetics. The third, attract emotions like curiosity or interest. And the fourth, make students think about issues. Next, give context like showing characters or settings. The sixth, show steps or procedures. And the last one, provide a visual summary of what's learned. Okay, now let's talk about effects of illustrations. Let's talk about the effects of different types of illustrations. Photos are great for showing real people, objects, and places. They feel authentic and realistic, but the weakness is photos can become outdated quickly. And sometimes they limit students' imaginations. But on the other hand, drawings are more flexible. They can show actions and interactions, focus on specific details. However, drawings might look less realistic, and some styles can cause different reactions from viewers. So, knowing these strengths and weaknesses help teachers to choose the right illustrations for their teaching goals in learning and teaching process. Alright, that's all about using illustrations. Now we move to design and layout. Now let's move to the second part, design and layout. Layout means the arrangements of text and illustrations on a page. A good layout helps by the first, attracting attentions, the second, providing focus and flow, the third one, separating different sections, and the last one, creating a consistent and aesthetic look. Some key factors for a good layout are positioning, size, sequence, space, balance, and repetitions. Basically, layout helps the teachers present the material more clearly and smoothly. Design refers to the overall look and functions of the material. It includes how we use color, icons, font, boxes, italics, illustrations, or even sound and music to make materials more interesting and easier to use. Good design makes materials appealing, clear, consistent, and impactful, and it also supports the goals of teaching. Alright, I think that's all from me. Thank you for your great attention. Bye bye.
Hello everyone, my name is Sarta Mutiara and my last student number is 045. So in this part, I'm going to talk about new development in materials writing, focusing on local materials project. In recent years, many educators around the world have realized that global course books, the ones designed for all countries, don't always meet the specific needs of their students. Because of that, there has been a growing movement to create local materials. That is, materials designed by local teachers for local learners. So, what exactly are local materials projects? So, local projects refers to the efforts made by teachers, school, or even governments to develop their own English teaching materials. These materials are based on their real-life context, cultures, and needs of the learners. For example, instead of using examples from other countries, local materials focus on familiar topics like students' daily life, local traditions, and national culture. So this makes learnings more meaningful and relatable for the students. Local materials have several important characteristics. First, they are usually written by groups of local teachers and teacher trainers who understand their students' backgrounds and also challenges. And then the second one is they are often guided by advisors who know about recent development in the second language acquisitions and materials designs. And then the third one is they are content and meaning focused. Means that English is used not just to learn grammar but also to gain knowledge, experience, and also awareness. And then the fourth one is they are text driven. Means using interesting and thought-provoking reading material. And finally, they help students connect what they learn with their own lives, making lessons more personal, engaging, and also authentic. Now, let's look at the advantages. First, local materials are directly relevant to the learner's needs and they are created within the same culture, so students can easily relate to them. And then the second one is teacher can consult learner or communities to make sure the materials are truly useful and engaging. And then the third one is local materials allow personalization. They can include local songs, stories, or festivals that reflect the students' environment. And then the fourth one is developing local materials also improve teachers' professional skills and creativity. So it gives them pride and ownership of what they produce. And then lastly, local writers have more freedom than global publishers. So they can include culturally rich and authentic content without worrying about offending. However, there are also challenges. Sometimes people undervalue local materials. Principal or parents may think they are less professionals just because they were not met by international experts. There is also the issue of language accuracy. So writers must carefully check grammar and also vocabulary. And then another challenge is limited access to high quality illustrations or text from other cultures, which can affect the appearance of the materials. And then lastly, local publishers may not have the same production quality as the international ones, making their books look less appealing. So these challenges shows that local materials still need support through training, funding, and also recognizing. The next one is the futures of local materials. Looking ahead, the futures of local materials looks very bright. More countries and institutions are expected to develop their own materials written by local teachers. At the same time, global publishers might collaborate with local educators to create versions that suit different regions. Teachers will also be encouraged to adapt global materials, adding local examples, pictures, or stories to make learning more relevant. And then some publishers are even preparing teachers' guides to help educators localize global books effectively. So I think that's all for me. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Raden Monawayu Amajid and today I would like to tell you about CALL and multimedia materials. CALL stands for Computer Assisted Language Learning. It refers to the use of computers and digital technologies to support language learning. CALL has evolved rapidly along with technological advancement and the wide availability of computers in homes and also schools. Number one, Classic CALL. Classic CALL began in the 1950s and became popular in the 1960s and 70s in the USA through large-scale language laboratories. It mainly used drill and practice programs that focus on vocabulary, grammar, and pronunciation. This approach followed by a behaviorist view of learning, emphasizing repetition and accuracy. Although these early programs are less influential today, some are still used for language practice. Number two, communicative CALL. In the 1970s to 80s, the communicative approach influenced a new type of CALL. Communicative CALL encourages students to use language for communication, not just memorization. Its goals were to focus on language use as well as language form, encourage learners to create original utterance, provide meaningful context for language use, give learners more control and also autonomy. However, early communicative CALL often worked as an addition to regular lessons rather than an integrated part. It was criticized for not supporting task-based or project-based activities that are more authentic. Today, many teachers combine CALL with internet and email tools for more communicative and interactive learning. Number three, tools supporting CALL. Several tools exist to help students and teachers. Referencing. Digital dictionaries and encyclopedias are available on CDs and the internet. Core concordensers, software that searches large databases of spoken and written text to find real examples of word usage. It helps learners understand collocation and meaning in real-life context. And next one, computer mediated communication or CMC includes emails, video conferencing, and chat rooms. Learners can communicate in real time or asynchronously with teachers and peers anywhere in the world. Next one, MUU, multiple use object oriented domains allow real-time group discussion online, promoting interactive learning. Number four, multimedia and hypermedia. Two major technological developments have reshaped CALL. The first one, multimedia technology. It means combines text, graphics, sounds, animation, and video into one interactive system, and then allows learners to move between media easily, for example, from audio to text or video. Makes learning more engaging and realistic through multiple modes of input. The second one is hypermedia. Extends multimedia by adding links between text, images, videos, and also sound. Allows learners to explore information linearly, choosing their own paths. Examples include websites and reading programs with clickable links and pop-ups. To maximize these benefits, schools need awareness of how computers can enhance language learning. cost-effective programs that reflect good learning principles. Well-equipped classrooms or strong network environments. Number 5, the computer as a tool. The most common computer tool for learning is word processing. It helps students develop writing and editing skills and allows teachers to prepare materials efficiently. Modern word processors support tables, charts, and email integration, helping turn written work into publishable formats. Computers can also be linked in local area networks or LAN, allowing teachers to monitor students and facilitate collaborative writing. And number 6, authoring and teachers' rules. Authoring allows teachers and students to create or modify learning materials to suit their context. Software can range from simple templates to complex authoring systems. Teachers need to understand both the strengths and also weaknesses of technology so they can use it effectively. CALL is not meant to replace teachers but to enrich classroom learning. Continuous updates and teacher training are essential to keep up with the fast development of CALL and multimedia. So, in conclusion, CALL and multimedia materials open new possibilities for language learning. They make lessons more interactive, flexible, and learner-centered. However, technology should support, not replace the teacher's role. When used wisely, CALL can create a dynamic environment where students explore, communicate, and truly enjoy the language. I think that's all. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Zakia Sabila with last number is 042. In this video, I'm going to talk about web-based material, especially how they can be used in writing instruction and what criteria we should use to evaluate them. Recent development in internet access have opened up many new possibilities for language learning and teaching. The web provides a huge variety of material like text, visuals, audios, videos, and tools that can support teacher and student in developing writing skills. So, first, what do we mean by web-based material? Web-based material are learning resources that are created, shared, or used through the internet. In writing instruction, these include online article, blogs, writing forums, digital worksheet, interactive grammar tools, ebook, or even online writing platform like Gdocs or Google Docs and Padlet. The internet has opened up many opportunities for everyone involved in education, like material developer, teachers, and learners, especially when it comes to writing activities. So let's look and know the benefit from web-based material in writing instruction. The opportunity from web-based material for material developers. People who create learning material can now get endless inspiration from the web. They can find ideas for classroom activities from educational websites, and then they can download authentic text such as a news article, blog, or short story to use in their material, and then they can use picture, graphic, and videos from the internet to make their material more visual and engaging. And then a developer can design online courses that are interactive and allow students to practice language skill directly on web. And they also can publish their material on website or send them by email to receive feedback from teachers and learners. And then developers can publish their work professionally through online platforms. So, for developers, the internet provides not only researchers but also tools to share and improve their work. For teachers, teachers also gain many benefits from web-based material. They can easily download online material to use in their class or replace textbook lessons. Teacher can guide students to relevant website where they can read, listen, or watch content in English. For example, online newspapers, YouTube lesson, or digital quizzes. Teacher can also encourage students to join online discussion, chat room or online exchange platform where they can communicate with native speakers or learners from other countries. In addition, teacher can prepare extra exercise or revision material on the web, so students can continue learning after class. In short, web-based material give teacher flexibility and creativity in planning lessons. Now let's talk about the opportunity from web-based material for students or learners. Learners can get massive exposure to the target language by simply surfing the internet. They can follow topics they are interested, for example, sport, fashion, or technology, and then they can read about them in English. They can visit websites recommended by their teacher to practice grammar, vocabulary, or listening skill. They can also take part in online project, visual simulation, or even join online courses offered by different institutions. Most importantly, there are many free websites that provide language learning material, so it can make easier for everyone to study English anywhere and anytime. However, before using any online material, we need to evaluate them carefully. There are 5 important criteria. For the first one, interactivity. Material should engage students like giving feedback or allowing discussion. And then for the second one, multimedia. They can use video, visual, or audio to support writing ideas. And then the third one, accessibility. Students should easily to access and personalize them. And the fourth, update content. The topic should be current and relevant to learners' life. And for the last one, collaboration. The material should allow students to work and write together online. To sum up, web-based material make writing instruction more meaningful and creative. They let students write for real audience, use modern tools, and express their ideas more confidently. By evaluating this material properly, we can make technology as a powerful part of writing learning.